Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to the channel and to episode 6 of the 365 series. Now, last week we did our inspection like always. The hive is still looking amazing. She's doing super good, drawing out all of her frames. She had about 6 of the frames drawn last week. I'm hoping she'll have 1 or 2 more drawn this week, but I'm not super optimistic. The weather has been very cold the last few days. It's only been in the mid 60s and 70s about the last week. And so I'm doubtful that the hive has drawn a lot more. But we're gonna go ahead and jump in and take a look and see what's going on. Now, like always, we're gonna give them a little bit of smoke. And as you can see, I did remove the entrance reducer to this hive last night. After the hive gets pretty close to filling up the second box, you can remove the entrance reducer, and it's going to help the hive be able to bring in more food, more nectar, and on days that are hot, on like we're dealing with right now, it's going to help with them being able to cool the hive down. Now, even though it is a bit colder out, the hive has still been eating lots of syrup, which is a good thing. We'll see, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they will be drawing out a lot of frames, but we will see. Be nice, because I would like to get a super on this hive before long. And so if you look up here, it looks like they really haven't drawn almost nothing since our last inspection, actually. And I do think that's because of the cold weather. They're just not wanting to draw as much. Because this hive, on the warm days, she draws so much. And so I'm thinking with it just being cold out right now, she's just not wanting to draw much. Still got lots of bees. So they're still putting nectar into the cells, which is good. They're still drawing this out nicely. We got a little bit started on this side. I think that was almost exactly what they had last week. So I definitely think this cold weather is affecting them as well. So the highest it's gotten in the last week since we filmed is probably the low 70s. Most of the days are sitting in the mid to upper 60s. So it's just been cold and the bees aren't wanting to draw as much. It's pretty nice. Lots of eggs here, which is good. Queen's probably right here somewhere. She's still laying like a monster. Look how good that frame is. And same thing on that side too. Oh boys, what do we have down here? So if you look down here, we do officially have swarm cells that have larvae in them. So if you look here, these are swarm cells, these peanut-shaped things. And if you look, we definitely have queen's larvae in them and stuff. And so now, at this point, this hive is definitely wanting to swarm. And so now we're gonna have to move on to the next step on what to do with it. That kind of sucks. I don't think she has left yet because there's still eggs. And a hive oftentimes won't leave until the queen cells are capped. And so she's probably still in here for now. But yeah, with those being having larvae in them now, it's definitely a sign that they are definitely wanting to swarm. So we're gonna have to probably split this hive or something to keep her from swarming, because I do not want her to swarm. We're gonna go ahead and close her up and discuss about what to do to keep her from swarming. Alrighty, so now that we know the hive is definitely wanting to swarm, we have 3 different options we can try. Option 1 is let the hive swarm. So we could, in theory, let the hive swarm in the hopes of catching it. And that way we could basically catch the swarm, make a new hive, and the hive would re-queen itself just fine. But the problem with that is obvious. You could miss the swarm and it could fly up high in a tree or fly away, and you could lose your queen and a lot of the bees. So we're not going to go with that one. Option 2, we could take and make a split off the hive. So we could go in, find the queen, which we can probably do. It's probably not that hard to do. We can go find her, take 2 or 3 frames of bees with her, put her in a nook, and take her a few miles away, and she'll make a new colony. And then what we could do is we would come back in, destroy all but 2 of the queen cells, and then the hive would basically re-queen itself in a few weeks and everything would be good. The problem with that is you're going to be waiting about 15, 20, 30 days before you're seeing eggs and a new queen in the hive. And all that time you're losing lots of nectar, honey, and everything that the bees can be gathering. So it's kind of a problem. And option 3 that we have is we can take her, we're going to do a split with her, go through the hive, destroy all the queen cells, and put a new queen in the hive. If we put a new queen in the hive, we'll think that they swarmed because they're now smelling the pheromones of a new queen, and they'll accept the new queen because they're basically forced to, and they'll have the idea that they swarmed, and it will hopefully stop them from wanting to swarm again. Now, this is the option I'm probably going to go with, mostly because I don't want to slow down production in this hive. This hive's doing really good. It's been a really great hive, and I want to keep doing weekly inspections with you guys. And so I'm going to go try and find a new queen and see if we can't do option 3. Hey, what's up? You might be wondering why I'm standing here beside the hive with only 1 box. Well, what do you call a guy who forgot to check his lens of his camera as he started to film? Well, you can call him me. I ended up forgetting to check the lens as I started to film, and there was something smudged on it. And so the rest of the footage from here on out is pretty gritty. It doesn't look great, but there's not a lot I can do about it. It's already filmed and everything's already done, as you'll see in a minute, but there's not much I can do about it. And so it's just the way it is. But without further ado, let's head to the next day. Alrighty, so it's the next day now, and we were able to find a queen, so that's super good. And basically what we are going to do now is we are going to do an artificial swarm. We are going to go in, we're going to find our queen, and we're going to take about half the bees, half the brood, half the food, everything about half out of this hive, put it into a new hive, and then we are going to take her about 3 miles away. But other than that, let's get into this and let's find our queen. Alrighty, so now that's the first step in the process. We went through, we found our queen, and we stuck her in a new box. We went ahead while we were going through and we destroyed all the queen cells on those frames. Now we are going to take her, we're going to close the hive up, and we're going to take it about 2 or 3 miles away. That way, they will reorientate to that place and they will start growing again as usual. Alrighty, so we went ahead and went through the whole hive and made sure that there was no queen cells left in in any of these frames. Everything looks great. There's no queen cells. And so the next thing that I like to do is I found this method a few years ago. This here is called a shim, and it's part of the winter equipment that I use every year. But I have found that it's also really great for introducing new queens, because you can just take it, set it right on top of the hive, and then you put your queen just right here across the top of the frames. And now the bees can just go ahead and work on getting her out over the next few days. If you watch, you can actually, okay, if you look here, you can see how aggressive they are. Look how they're moving across it and stuff. And that's because they're still used of the old queen's pheromones. And so if you were to release that queen in here just directly right now, they would ball her up and kill her instantly. And so we have to introduce her slowly over the next 2 days or so. And so that's why there's a candy in this here. It will slowly introduce her. They'll have to chew their way in, and it just takes a bit of time. And by the time they finally get into her, they will realize that they don't have another queen, and so they'll be forced to accept her. So other than that, we can go ahead and put our feeder back on, put our lid back on, and we're good for now. Alrighty, and that there is how we like to split our hives that are wanting to swarm. Pretty simple. All you really have to do is go in, find your old queen, split the hive in half. Now, I do want to talk about what do you do if you can't find your queen? Maybe you've gone through a few times, you just can't seem to find her. What should you do? So what I like to do if I can't find my queen is, again, I'm going to break the hive in half. I'm going to do all of the steps the exact same. I'm going to break them in half, break the hive in half, put half the frames in one hive, half the frames in the other, and take her about 3 miles away. And then 3 or 4 days, you can go back in and look at both hives. Now, one of the hives is going to have eggs and the other hive will not have eggs. And whichever one has the eggs is where your queen's at. And at that point, you could go through the other one, destroy all the queen cells or whatever you need to do, and introduce a new queen that way. Alrighty, and that's going to wrap it up for episode 6 this week. It's been a super big episode. I know it's going to be running a really, really long. And so I want to thank everyone who sat through and watched the whole thing. And also, I was wondering if you guys want to watch 2 hives now instead of 1, because I've kind of become a big fan of that queen. She's an amazing queen. And so I was wondering if you guys want to also follow her through. If not, we can just follow this one. No big deal. We'll just stay on the original hive. But if you want to, we can start following both of these hives and see about both of them getting through the winter. Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up for episode 6. I want to say a huge thanks to everyone who watched. And before you go, if you would hit that subscribe button and the like button.